Our guest here today, her name is Ashley Johnson, and she is the founder of Project Prom Dress here in San Antonio, Texas, which is located at 702 Donaldson here in San Antonio. Thank you so much for being here. Say hello to the people that are out there right there listening right now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for taking time. I know that, we were trying to arrange the schedule here to accommodate you, and I'm glad we were able to do that. So I'm glad that you're here today. But, I'll be honest with you. I've heard of this, your program that you do, and I think it's really awesome. Like I said at the beginning, I'm a youth advocate, and I know what you're doing is specifically for high school youth. And I'd like to maybe get a little bit of background, anything that maybe our listeners may want to know about you, that you may want to share, and then we'll go into, what you're doing with this organization.
Okay, so myself and my husband started the organization in 2014, and at the time I had heard of previous efforts, but I hadn't heard of any organizations that were helping the kids year round. So early on, I decided to name it Project Prom Dress because there are so many teens that miss out on going to prom because of the cost of the hair, the nails, the dress. And so at that time, my stepdaughter was a junior in high school, and we asked her, hey, do you want to go to prom? And she says, well, I'm not sure. She decided not to that year, and I thought, hey, let's start getting some dresses together. So I put a Facebook post and got a few from friends and family here and there. Then later that year, I reached out to media, radio, to possibly do an interview. So January 2015 was my first interview with KSAT. And my phone blew up as soon as it aired, literally. Mm-hmm. And so for weeks, we were going to different parking lots and all over town meeting people to collect dresses. And after that, it literally took over. We were in an apartment at the time. It took over our dining area, half of one of the bedrooms. And that's when we met the first group of girls. A majority were from Young Women's Leadership Academy. Mm-hmm. So it was about 30 girls. And we also had them get hair and makeup done from one of the career schools. They're no longer working, but they got that as well. And everything was free of charge. So as every year progressed, we would go to different facilities, Big Brother, Big Sister, Boys and Girls Club, different high schools. And during prom time, we would set up 2 to 3 times from between March and May and have all the girls that applied come out and select a dress. And now to date, we've assisted well over 500 area teens.
Wow.
And we've even had some come as far as Del Rio, Corpus Christi. And 2017, we expanded to assist the boys. So now we're boys and girls and year round. Homecoming, this month has been very popular for homecoming. And military balls, banquets, any school formal event.
Wow, that's so awesome. And again, it's just sometimes it starts off, and this is what I love about what I do here, because a lot of times we, some of these bigger organizations that I interview, like let's say Meals on Wheels that provide meals to the seniors, you think, okay, well, they go and give food. But then when I have them here, they start sharing all these other things that they're doing, and you kind of like, wow, I didn't know that. One of them that stood out was that they're providing food for the pets.
Wow.
And I didn't know that, and I'm like, well, that's great, but I didn't even know that, They were saying because the seniors would usually take part of their meals and give it to their pets because they didn't have dog food. And so, I love that because you get to know more than what you think you know about a certain organization. And like what you're saying now is that it started basically with, your stepdaughter. And I mean, I'm sure you had no clue that it was going to take off the way it did, right? And that usually happens.
Exactly.
When you're trying to do something, because I believe that, when you do it from your heart, I think it just evolves into something totally that more than we think that it would ever be. And so being able to just help start with your stepdaughter, right, to be able to provide something for her, because I think that's the proms are one of the biggest things that the juniors or seniors look to, right? Because that's kind of like, this is it, this is like me going out and the last night with my friends, and so it's a big part of what they do in high school. And you're right, a lot of times we may not think, because we're privileged to be able to provide for children or our kids certain needs, that there are other kids out there that, their parents can't provide for them. And so being able to do what you're doing and affecting and helping these young men and women means a lot to them. And so from that point, when you started there to where you're at right now, what has been the biggest challenge for you?
The biggest challenge has been financial. We get calls almost every day of people wanting to donate attire, which is fine, but we have to maintain our space where we keep the dresses. Also, funding for helping to promote our organization, such as flyers, brochures, our website. So we don't get paid. We're all, it's myself, my husband, we have a board, and we're all volunteers. So we all work full time. None of us get paid to do this. So financially, it has been our biggest struggle. And we are a 501c3. So we try to, let that word out. So hopefully people can donate.
Right. And I know that's one of the challenges, because being what we're doing with Bridging the Gap, I know we have some nonprofits that are partnering with us, and one nonprofit comes to mind, like what you're saying, right? We're doing this, but we're still working, and we want to do more, but we can't go full time because what we're doing doesn't support us, or doesn't give us the financial need that we need to go ahead and just stop working. And so I know that that's one of the problems a lot of times, is like the money coming in, being able to just be able to survive on some of those funds that come in, and to do what you're doing as well. So I know that happens a lot, and this is why we do what we do, because I believe that we want to spread the word. We want people to know, especially with organizations like yourself that are doing something great, right? Something good for the community, that we need to get behind these organizations, or whoever's doing something, right? That is affecting or making a difference in people's lives. Maybe you're looking to help someone, and you're wondering, who do I help, or who can I invest or sow a seed into someone that is doing something? Because you have to be very careful nowadays, because, man, there's so many scammers out there that make it seem so real, and make it seem like, oh yeah, we're doing this and we're doing this, and all of a sudden, before you know it, it was like it wasn't even a real thing. It was something that they were doing just to be able to take your money. And so I know that you've been for a couple of years already, and I think that, if anybody's out there, maybe they want to contribute or want to donate to whatever it is, maybe, I'm sure you're probably looking for volunteers as well to help out in whatever you're doing. How can they reach you, or how can they get in contact with you to maybe donate money, or donate their time volunteering, or, dresses, or whatever it is that you may be in need of?
So we are on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and under Project Prom Dress San Antonio. And we also have our website. It is www.ppdsa.org, our name abbreviated. And quick shout out, that's sponsored by Leap Interactive Media Group. And there's a link at the top for our PayPal donate button.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to definitely give a shout out to anybody who's helping out. I mean, I've been in business, so I understand that side of it too, that when we help someone, it's about, letting people know that we're helping other people. And so it's definitely something that we want to do, to give a shout out to people that are already helping in whatever capacity they can. What is it, as far as your goals of what you would like to do with this, or what do you see this going? Because I know when we start off, it's kind of like we have no clue. We're just trying to get off the ground. And once we started to generate that momentum, I know, like these two young ladies that I was speaking about, they had kind of come to a crossroads. They were doing what they were doing for about 3 years, but they're like, we're kind of stuck. We're kind of like, we want to do this, but we don't know how or what to do. And luckily, I was able to help them, because they weren't a 501c at the time, and so I was able to connect them with someone who helped them out with that. But they wanted to do more than what they were doing, and so I said, well, first of all, you have to build a foundation, right, to be able to build everything on top of maybe what you may want to be doing. And so that's the first part, I think. And now they're moving, and they wanted to have a place where they could be able to kind of help with the individuals that they were serving, to be able to do more. And so now they just recently got their own place. It's not a big building what they wanted, but I said, well, sometimes you may have to start small, right, and grow into that. And so as far as what you're doing, do you have a place already, or is that something you're looking at to hopefully maybe get a a space where you can do this or even do more?
So we do currently have a space. Our address is actually a center called Woodlawn Point. And it's across the street from Jefferson High School. And it's connected to church, New Living Spiritual Center. And Pastor Joseph, he's been awesome. We've been there for 4 years. And we've actually moved into a bigger room about 3 years ago. So the room is a pretty good size. And we have several department store type racks that we have all of the attire on. And then we also have some shoe racks. And then we have accessories such as fashion jewelry, purses. And so right now, we just more so need help, volunteer help with sizing and sorting new items that come in. And then once we start prom season, definitely volunteers can assist, and they can be fashion shoppers, help the teens pick their dress, pick their suit. And it's such an awesome feeling, just, hey, try this one, try that one. And then if they pick the one you pick, it's so exciting. So just to see the look on their faces.
Right.
So,
no, absolutely. And I know, like my wife, she likes to, oh, well, that color doesn't go with this color. And so I'm sure there's some, ladies or, whoever may be fashion minded that want to be able to help or contribute. This is a great way for you to be able to do something and help out, a teenager, and go out there and say, hey, let's see what we can fix you up with. And, I know that, working with youth and stuff, it's a great feeling to be able to know that if you're being able to help and seeing their reaction, or just seeing the smiles on their faces and thinking, what, this might have not been possible unless I was able to help. And so being able to do that, if anybody's listening out there, again, maybe you want to do something like this. Maybe you have a talent. Maybe you have a gift for coordinating or fashion, whatever the case may be. I know I'm not that person. But again, I always believe that even though you may not have that gift or, be able to have that talent, that you still can contribute some way. I know there's some people out there that say, well, I can't do that, or I don't have the time to do this. And I'm like, and that's fine, I understand. But maybe you can help monetarily wise, right? You can donate, because that's almost the same thing as you being there helping, because it'll allow you to do more, right? I mean, whatever it is that you're in need, if someone can donate, $100, $1,000. I mean, I've seen it happen, right? We put it out there and we ask if anybody would like to help. And I believe this is a really good cause. I mean, you want to get behind something that's making an impact or affecting people in a great way. And I believe what you're doing is doing that as well. So if anybody out there is maybe listening and really wants to, help out, and maybe you don't have that talent or to be able, or the time to go there and help out, help them, monetarily wise. It's another investment that you're doing to helping these kids enjoy or have something that's going to last them a lifetime, right? Because when you go to a prom, I mean, I went to my prom, but I went as a photographer. I was in the photography, and they needed somebody to go take pictures. Like, guess what? This is your date, the camera. And so, but yeah, you're there, and it's an experience that will last a lifetime. And again, like you said, some kids may not have that experience unless you're there to help them out, like what you're doing.
Thank you.
What else? Because of what I'm hearing, as far as, like, I know the place where you're talking about is right across Jefferson High School. There's a church or two churches that are right there, right? And you have that facility. But are you looking to maybe expand in the future, or what are your goals, or what do you see yourself as far as what you're doing with the organization?
Well, I do have thoughts of not more so expanding, but being available. We have gotten requests for pop-ups. We actually had one at Lanier back in April, and that went really well. We had about 30 kids of their students that came out. So we would like to possibly invest in a trailer or some type of utility van, so that would be easier to transport some, if not all, of our inventory. We have probably over 3,000 dresses.
That place?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yes, it's quite a bit in
that's a
all
challenge
sizes.
right there, just to think about that.
Yes, sir. All sizes. And so definitely a vehicle would help us be more able to do pop-ups in the future for prom season, like we used to.
Right.
Yeah, but we would have to get a U-Haul or a U-Haul trailer. So, yeah.
In other words, something that's mobile where you could go to them, because right now, the way you're operating, do they come to you there at that location to get fitted, or is that how it works?
Correct. Yes. So we have an online entry form, and once it's completed, I send an email usually to the parents, and we'll schedule an appointment, and it's usually a Saturday for them to come by and select.
And so if anybody's listening right now, if you maybe have a teenager, and maybe, times are kind of hard right now because after the COVID, people lost their jobs. It's kind of difficult and when one of your kids asks you, Mom, can we do this or can we do that? And you kind of like, well, it's not in the budget. So this is a great opportunity if maybe you have a child, or maybe you have a friend, or maybe a sister or brother, anyone who may have a teenager right now that may be looking into wanting to go to prom, but maybe they're not able to because of the finances that are involved. This is a great way for you to let them know that this organization is doing something to be able to help those who are in need. And so please reach out to them. Again, where can they contact you? Your information as far as maybe wanting to apply. You said, I think you gave the website, but again, maybe they have a question, or they have something they need more information about, or they want to contribute or whatever. And let me put it out there, because we've done this before, right? That you have a need, and maybe you're looking for a trailer or whatever the case may be to facilitate what you're doing. We'll put it out there. Maybe somebody has a trailer that's been sitting there for a while and just says, hey, I'm not doing anything. It's a donation. You're a 501c, so I think it could be, I'm not a tax expert, it could be a write-off, I don't know. But if you're a business or anybody maybe that has something that maybe could help them be able to do something that would be like on the move kind of, what you're doing as far as being able to go to different locations, we'll put it out there, because it has happened where we had someone once that we had here that were doing some construction at a church in, I think it was Falfurrias, Texas, and said we only have like a couple of 2x4s. And I said, well, let's put it out there, what does it hurt, right? And so we did. If anybody had any material or anything that they wanted to donate, a couple of weeks later he calls me and said, hey, guess what, I don't know, but we got a big old truck that pulled in with a lot of lumber and material to kind of build what we had started. And so I'm a firm believer in that, right? That we are able to help each other if we can. And this may be one, if you have a U-Haul sitting around, or maybe if you know someone who may want to, donate it, or maybe sell it really, 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 really cheap, let's put it out there. Again, thank you so much for what you're doing, because I know the need is so great. And the kids nowadays, because of everything that's been going on, they need this. And you see that in their faces when, I'm sure when you're able to go, when they go there and you fit them, and they're looking. I saw some of the pictures on Instagram, and they're like really styling.
Yes, it's such an awesome feeling, and it definitely resonates with myself. My mother was a single parent, and I had to work part-time to pay for all my prom expenses. So I definitely have been in their shoes, and I graduated 20 years ago, so 20 years later, it's full circle, and it's such an awesome feeling.
No, absolutely. And it's a great way, like I said, to be able to help the kids out, because they need so much help nowadays. And I'm looking at that, and I'm seeing some of the needs that, the kids have. And the pandemic really kind of threw everything off. And did you pretty much shut down, right? There was nothing really going on.
We did. We had maybe 3 kids right before the shutdown, and we thought we weren't going to survive, but we made it through. And this year was our biggest year ever with prom.
Were you able, with this year or last year, did you start up again? Or
So no, this year was our biggest year.
Okay.
Last year we had a few, maybe about 50, but this year we've over 200 for prom season.
Right, because I've seen, I don't know, I think I saw something in the news that they didn't have, because they were being homeschooled, right, that they said, well, let's see if we can go somewhere and just have a prom for them at least. That may not, because of the COVID, wasn't happening. But if they could have a place where I think they did rent somewhere out. I wasn't sure, but they were able to have a prom at least, because all the schools were shut down at the time.
Yes, there were different facilities and parents that wanted to put on events for the kids. But like, for example, this year, they started doing more proms. And we also received a lot of children from group homes and foster programs that needed attire as well, because maybe the center they're at, they had an event for them. So it was definitely a big turnout.
And that's good to know, because some of our partners more recently, we've had schools come on board. Like one of them is Royal Academy. The other one, KIP Academy as well, that has partnered with us for about 6 years to do some of the events that we do. And so I know that they're out there, and it's a great connection. That's why I always let people know, if you can come to one of our meetings, because you meet a diversity of different organizations, agencies, schools, like I said, more recently, that are coming on board, to be able to make those connections and to let people know, hey, this is what we're doing. Or at the same time, maybe we're in need of something, and sometimes people can, be able to help out if they know someone, or maybe they can contribute. I know we have one individual that's with a big company, and last year they were doing a Thanksgiving dinner. They want to give it out 400 turkeys right here on Kennedy, and so he donated $1,000 to be able to make that happen. So again, we invite you to join us. This is what we're about, right? We want to be able to let people know what's going on, and the organizations that are partnered with us, nonprofits, business, whoever the case may be, are able to come and share what they're doing, and it exposes you more, and people know more about you, because that's what we need, right? A lot of times, like I tell people, you may have the best service, the best resource, but if people don't know what you're doing, then that's not going to help you or anybody that you're really helping, because nobody knows about it. So it's a great way to be able to connect, and that's why we do the Bridging the Gap networking meetings. And again, they're free of charge. If you'd like to be part of it, just come and join us. Again, go to our Facebook and look at our calendar. And we have meetings throughout the city, right? And so we're thankful and grateful for that as well. Close to the end of our show right now, but anything else that maybe you want to share with our listeners?
Just we appreciate the San Antonio community for the past 8 years of sending out the dresses, coming to volunteer, the donations. We greatly appreciate it, and we hope to continue to be around for many more years to come.
Absolutely. And again, out there, if you're listening, maybe your daughter or your son, maybe, I know, because I mean, proms only happen either in junior or senior year. Right after that, it's like, okay, you spend all that money on an outfit or whatever. Maybe it's in the closet. Think about donating it, because it's not helping anybody in the closet, right? And so it's a great way to be able to give back to the community, being able to help a young man, a young woman that maybe is in need for the prom season that's coming up. Again, where can they donate these or get information about?
So our phone number is 210-504-7766, and we're on all social media platforms, Project Prom Dress San Antonio, and our website is www.ppdsa.org.
Great. Well, thank you again so much for taking your time to be with us here and sharing what you're doing. I know it's awesome. San Antonio, please get behind this organization. Whatever you can do, let's help them out to continue doing what they're doing. We will be back here again next week. I appreciate you being here with us.